know how to animate text, we can create shapes right within After Effects and animate those shapes. Up in the toolbar in the upper left-hand corner, there's a tool that's a shape tool. And if you click, I see there's a ellipse is showing right now, but it might be different for you. It might be a rectangle. If I click and hold, you'll see that there's rectangle tool, rounded rectangle, and ellipse. I'm going to choose ellipse. And then I'm going to say, you know what, I want to fill color. I'm going to make it red. And then if I draw, hold down the mouse, I'm just going to make a simple ellipse or circle. Now, what's really important is anytime you draw a shape, what shows up in the timeline, or it's a timeline, is shape layer 1. We want to rename that because we want to keep track of our layers, because as our animations become more complex, this area can become very crowded and very confusing. I'm going to call this circle. And now I want to change its position. And as you probably remember from our text exercise, we hit P on the keyboard to change position. So I want this to start at the beginning, so I'm going to move the playhead to the very beginning, and I'm going to click on the stopwatch to initiate the keyframe. And now I'm going to make sure I'm on the selection tool, and I'm going to move my circle off the screen. I'm going to move along in the timeline, and then I'm going to move my circle. And as you can see, I'm creating a path. I'm going to move the playhead again, and then I'm going to move my circle. And now if I see what happens over time, my circle travels across the path. And of course, I can adjust that if I don't like the way it exited. I can change my path at a later time. Now, there are other options besides just changing position. For example, here, I want to change the color of my circle as it's moving along the path. So if I click on my little arrow under circle, I'm going to also twirl down contents, ellipse, and then I want to change the fill over time. And right now at the very beginning, my color is red. As I move along the timeline, as the circle comes up to its peak, I would like to change the color to be yellow. And then I move along the timeline, and as it comes off the screen, I would like to change it to blue. So now, as my circle is traveling, it's also changing colors. So you can always change multiple variables. So I can have something moving, changing colors. I could also have it scale if I want. And to make that happen, I would click on Scale, and maybe as it gets to its height, I want it to grow and get bigger. Might even go off the screen a little bit. And then as it travels back down to the end, I'm going to have it scale back down. And I think I'll just type in 100 to make it a little quicker. And then so as I watch, I've changed 3 attributes. I've changed position, fill color, and scale. And I could do this with multiple shapes in the timeline. Something that you should get used to is after you've manipulated variables or attributes in a layer, close the layer by clicking on the small triangle. That will collapse the layer and make it easier to work.